It's rare that we ever have a weekend that is as good with the Outkick six-pack as we just did. So I'm going to bring in Dub. Dub, we gave you on Friday in the final segment of the show 6 NFL gambling picks, and we went 6-0 against the number. For those of you out there who were not listening or chose not to gamble, this is as good as it gets for us. I gave you the Rams, the Bucks, and the Texans to cover, the under in the Ravens-Patriots game, which hit in the middle of that deluge, the over in Bills-Cardinals, which would have been a push but hit on the Hail Mary, and the Dolphins-Chargers over. This is about as good as it gets, 6-0, and wildly now, this also drives up our overall success rate on the Outkick six-pack, the 6 NFL gambling picks I give you every Friday in the final bit of the show, to 70% winners on the year. We are white hot. I'm going to be nervous now making the picks, overthinking things because we've got such a roll going. The six-pack would have paid as a parlay right around 45-1. So if you'd bet $1, you would have won $45. I hope a lot of you bet them. I bet a bunch of these games, so I don't just tell you that I like the bets. I also bet them myself. And we went 5-2 on our college football gambling picks. So Friday's gambling picks, we had an epic day. We went 11-2 with the picks we gave out.
That's never a bad thing. And also, shout out Nick Chubb for the decision to run out of bounds on the 1 yard line. I personally had Cleveland -3.
I had the Texans plus 3.5.
So
if he had
that was a big
there,
play for the Outkick six-pack. There was a couple of big plays, but the Rams, easy win and cover. The Bucks, easy win and cover. Buffalo soars over. So it was a great week all around.
Just amazing. So we'll give you out the next Outkick six-pack on Friday, but I wanted to lead the show with that. Having said that, I think there are a ton of stories that's worth diving into around the NFL, and I want to start with Sunday Night Football. And I want to ask you this question. Is the bloom off the Lamar Jackson rose? The Ravens lose 23-17 in tough conditions in Foxborough. Now Lamar Jackson, 6-3. Yes, good performance, good win on the road against the Colts. Also has a win against the Browns, who are also 6-3. But in general, last year Lamar Jackson was unstoppable. If you include last year in the postseason, the playoff game, Lamar Jackson now as a starter is just 6-4 in his last 10 games. And it seems to me that the NFL defenses have caught up to Lamar Jackson. And this is an interesting example. What the Patriots did to him last year, if you remember, the Patriots got absolutely blitzkrieged by the Ravens on the road in Baltimore. That was, for many people, a signature moment, a signature win for Lamar Jackson, where people took a step back and said, wow, this Ravens team might be good enough. And certainly Lamar Jackson became the MVP of the league. And the question that was out there was, and this is my question in general for any young quarterback, the NFL, if you talk to a lot of NFL veterans, especially if they are defensive players, stands for not for long. It means not for long for your career. The average NFL player only lasts 3.6 seasons, but it also means not for long in terms of your ability to dominate. NFL running backs reach the age of 30, they're done. The average number of players that last in the league beyond 30 years old is very low outside of really punter, kicker, quarterback. And what I have always said is the only thing that can't be defended consistently is a quarterback who's great on 3rd and 8. When the entire stadium knows that you are going to be throwing the football, can you read the defense find the open receiver, and consistently extend drives. That's what the great ones can do. That's what the Aaron Rodgerses do, the Tom Bradys, the Drew Brees, the Russell Wilsons. The guys who go out there and consistently win in this league are the best 3rd down and 8 passers out there. And my question about Lamar Jackson, which triggered all sorts of people last year and the year before, has been he's an electric, transcendent talent, the likes of which we have not seen very many of. But over time, you can't make a living, at least not so far, as a quarterback who is primarily a runner. It just doesn't work. You can be a quarterback who runs. There are certainly a lot of those that can be successful athletic quarterbacks, going all the way back to Steve Young, who was one of the first that I really remember who could make plays with his legs, Doug Flutie, guys who, Randall Cunningham, when the ability to throw the football broke down, you could run. But the Ravens did something unique last year and the year before with Lamar Jackson. They built an entire offense around him, Greg Roman, John Harbaugh, that was unlike anything else we had seen. And there were a lot of difficulties in the NFL with catching up to Lamar Jackson and figuring out how to stop him. But that seems to no longer be the case. And I think it's an interesting question. If you had to pick right now, who would you rather have for the next 5 years? Kyler Murray, who had the most electric play in the NFL yesterday, or would you rather have Lamar Jackson, who is the reigning MVP? To me, I think I would rather have Kyler Murray, because it seems to me that he can do everything with his legs that Lamar can, but he's a much better passer. And if you look at what happened last night, the Patriots made Lamar Jackson throw the football, and he was just okay. 24-34. Granted, the weather conditions were rough. 249 yards passing. 11 rushes for 55 yards. He didn't really ever take over. And it seems to me like there is a real question right now about what the future is for Lamar Jackson. Is he going to be able to take it to the next level as a passer, or has he already peaked? Is he going to be able to be as good as he was last year ever again? I think those are really intriguing questions for Lamar Jackson, particularly as you look ahead with a couple of difficult games, maybe. Titans on the road, a rematch of that playoff game in Baltimore. Then the week after, you've got the Steelers. The Ravens go on the road against the Steelers. Those are not easy games. The schedule gets a lot easier after that for the Ravens. In fact, they only have, I believe, one winning team the rest of the way after the next 2 weeks. So maybe they can start to get on a little bit of a run. But I think you got to be a little bit apprehensive if you are a Ravens fan right now about where Lamar Jackson goes from here and what his next level is, right? Is he going to be able to continue to improve? And so far this year, again, just okay. The completion percentage, only 62% so far this year, 63%, 62.9. That's not great. It's not great. 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, just okay. I don't know that I would want to buy stock in Lamar Jackson right now. And I certainly wouldn't have wanted to buy stock in him coming off of that MVP season. So I've always said, is he a unicorn? That's the question I had for Lamar Jackson. Is he so good that no one else has ever been like him before? If so, he can change the rules of the game. But most guys are not unicorns. Most athletes are like other athletes who have come before them, and there have been a lot of people that were incredible for a year or two in the NFL, and then the league catches up with them and they make you do over and over and over again the thing that you do the worst. So I always say about NFL defenses, they will figure out what you do the worst, and then they will make you do it over and over again. And the guys who end up having the most success, eventually they recognize, you know what, we've done everything to them. They might not have a great game, but we can't figure out a tremendous weakness. Like Russell Wilson didn't play well against the Rams. He didn't play well against the Bills. That's not because Russell Wilson has suddenly been exposed and he's not very good. It's because sometimes great players don't play well. Aaron Rodgers doesn't play well every game. It's not because suddenly a defense figures out he can't do something well. It's because it's impossible nearly to be incredible all the time. Patrick Mahomes, maybe he really can be incredible all the time. But my point here is, by and large, the NFL is a 3rd and 8 passing league. And I'm a little bit troubled if I am a Ravens fan with the fact that if the Ravens get down, they have almost no capability to come back. It's hard to get the Ravens down, right? It's hard to get up on them double digits. It's hard to get up on them 14 points or so. But if you get Lamar Jackson down by double digits, the Ravens offense falls apart pretty fast. That's what we've seen. The last 10 games, Ravens are just 6-4. That's nothing like the streak that they were on during the regular season last year. And it's interesting because of Kyler Murray's Hail Mary, which was by far the biggest and best play of Sunday in the NFL. The talent that he has, I think there's a possibility that Kyler Murray is in the MVP race before the end of this season is over.